Hello everyone. I would like to very quickly talk about how in our social structures in our society we have, how would I say this? We have people communicating to one another but at different states of being. So one person could be doing something that could look wrong to people, but it could be done at the being could be at a very happy state of being. And when I say happy, it's not a happiness that's from here. It's a happiness doing anything. You know, we seek too hard in our ideas to find our truth. And we just need to see that when the image is reduced and constantly us thinking of something else, something else, something else, once we get out of that dynamic in which we are making ourselves, how do I say, a step-by-step receiver, our mind will stop thinking linearly and flow non-linearly in handling a lot of our maintenance. So self-maintenance is like you become aware of yourself and you see that your different states of being are irrelevant. They're like a vertical dimension if all your moods and feelings and thoughts were horizontal, including physicality. So, in other words, we need to, in our social systems, incorporate some form of method in which we can see that the state of the being should also be acknowledged, not just the being. The state of the being means that there could be people who are looking at the world as if there is no hope. And there could be people who are looking at the world as if everything is hopeful. And so, as there is this distinction, when these two people get together, either one of their realities has to adjust. When we have a person who is of a higher state and a person who is of a lower state, and when I say lower state, these are of course very hard to speak about. These are simply just how you are. You know, think of it as someone who's depressed and someone who's the president of the nation. Do you know? How much are you allowing depression in your life and why? You know, that's the question in regards to depression. Now, when you see the distinction between the bodies of reality, we don't have just bodies of physicality. We have bodies in which our whole worlds are different from one another. And so when different worlds come together, it is the being who is more certain in his knowing, in which his state of being will, in a sense, gravitate the one that is lesser. So if you're a happy guy, but your happiness is based on a temporal image which can change the minute your mind changes when an experience of suffering comes into your reality, you need to see that your truths have to be beyond ideology that can crumble. Because every human being will probably go in a moment where they'll think they figured something out and they'll see they don't know anything, right? The states of being are different based on how existentially sensitive the being is. An existential sensitive person is not asking too much from life. And that is why he's not receiving a communication that is, in a sense, it's like the state of being you ask your question is very important. Because you can ask in a lower state of being, a question, and someone gives you an answer, and you're still not satisfied. Why don't you think you're satisfied? You know, it's because your certainty is not there in the whole picture. You're trying to be certain of one aspect of it and keeping the most important aspect, your knowing before ideology, there first, in a sense. Society, when it begins acknowledging not just human beings, but just the human being as a being first, and then its humanity, it begins to see that being aspect, that beingness aspect, that thrive for life is that difference, which I'm talking about in our social structures. So you will see one kid will suddenly have such a thrive for life, and suddenly if he's in an environment where the people around him are not, in a sense, their states of being are not high, they will see that it's as if they will make the new person who's entering, who's at a higher state of being, lower, because the accepted reality is, oh gosh, we're all this. When you have a moment where you and the people around you are all like, oh gosh, we're this, that's not a good moment. Because we should never just be this. Do you know? What I mean by that is we're greater explorers, and with the ability of your exploration, especially the one in regards to finding Mr. Within, seeing what is you, you will begin to simply notice that your intelligence will get an authentic chance to move beyond its beyond its mental considerations, its thought considerations. So I'm going to simplify this in a little bit. So how I want to explain this is that the nature of the words I speak of is in regards to what I see within man and mankind. As I observe this, I notice that the intelligence of interpretation has different sensitivities to what is here. So what that means is that all those beings who thought they were thinkers were looking in the wrong place if they were still in the realm of philosophy. Philosophy is only one part of it. It's only the aspect where you're becoming sensitive to form. But are you becoming sensitive to the formless? Are you becoming aware of the emptiness in the Zen master's teacup? Are you becoming aware of the clarity that could never be in dictation? As one begins to observe how work is being done, you look at first at the individual template of it in the sense that what is doing what. After you've become aware of what is doing what so clearly, you will in a sense see that the reality and the dimensions that what is showing you suddenly transforms to what are you doing to that which is being done. So in other words, you begin seeing that the action of your internal reality and the action of this external reality are the same. And that's a profound moment, as profound as perhaps the edge of man's mind, which was also the edge of many realities. You will see that when many edges come together, when we think there is an end, there actually is none. There is no rule in how you can become self-aware. That is why there's the creativity and the playful design of each human being having a unique sense of moving from something into an awareness that is nothing. And nothing that is aware of everything. It's nothing in the sense that it's no thing. So we must see that at times even our clarity may mean to push forward what we know in a world that's telling us that's not real. Because it's your life, you know? I mean, people can tell you as much as they want, but you're here to experience it. Once it becomes real for you that it's your life, you realize, gosh, all those responsibilities that I thought I shouldn't do or I was too tired for are actually here simply just to increase my speed. This physical experience is your vehicle. Right? And so when I say it's your vehicle, it's because I am confronting your being aspect as the observer, not the object of observance. Because the minute if you have not looked at your body, trust me, you're still very objective. The minute you become aware of objectivity, that realm is subjective. And that subjectivity is present in a profound, unknown aspect of experience that if one was to take one more step after reaching the peak of the mountain they're climbing, the peak of their dualistic journey, they will see the next step is simply to dissolve. It's as if for me, you see this observer reality, it could be anything. You could be at a vending machine and you can dissolve in your experience because it is your sensitivity. It is how self-awareness is giving you an ability beyond what you thought you were. They haven't left a lot of room for you to explore what humanity means for you. Your consciousness, your experience might be extremely different than what our cultures are, in a sense, constantly telling us, you know. I don't see anything much wrong with culture in the sense that it is the worst enemy. But I see culture as just a terminal of communication to what I am receiving from it and what my experiences of it are. Some people, through cultural experiences, through their ideology, reach profound states of consciousness, of awareness. But some people see that ideology hinders them because they are beings that are working with the intelligence of the plane. So what that means is your guru is no longer one person in your reality. It's everything that you're aware of in your moment, present now, and then for you to see that now was kept here by the sense that you were considering other time period. So the segmentation of your reality fades similar to Thor's hammer going through infinite walls and breaking realities. And so you see that it's as if a supernatural phenomena was only what we called it because we had not explored the greater dimensions of man's experience. We need mystics, we need yogis, we need every human being to sit down and observe and learn something about their experience and communicate that. We need peace to be found in the pieces of reality that cannot understand each other. We must be the presence that is the understanding for our environment. So what that means is that you might see people might not understand you. You might see that, oh my God, people are not considering you. And then your life will take you to a point where you will be, how dare I say, people are not paying attention to me. I have not been putting that intention to move. I have not been bringing action into a world that's always active. It is my experience that needs to be the revelation that I need. So bring yourself to a point where you're efficient and enjoy your experience. That's simply it. I noticed that to even search too much while your life is too much already as it is something that it would bother you unless you're willing to let go and to really see who you are. In other words, looking this life and you are an individual and see what your collective means and dissolve into your greatest vision and see what you can bring back. Because you are not just who you think you are. You are who you think you are in a world where everything exists in one moment. Communicate all that you can and do not think that madmen will be changed, because madmen are usually the ones breaking chains. Much blessings and namaste.